Aloha everyone, howdy and welcome to the WatchBox review. Now I realize it's been over a year since I've uploaded any content to my channel here, but I want to assure you guys I've been, collecting watches and stuff like that still. My collection is still about 36 watches that I still maintain and keep, and I do enjoy quite a bit still. But I haven't loaded any content simply because I haven't been acquiring anything in the past year, and I've only been wearing one watch. And that, for the past year, has been this, a Motorola Moto 360 Generation 2 model. Okay, so this watch here was released about 2 years ago, I think, maybe 2.5 years ago when Motorola first released these. And the watch that you're seeing here is 1 year old. And what I want to do with this video here is just trying to enlighten some of you guys who are probably fellow watch collectors. And by that I mean, you probably have more than one watch to your collection and you enjoy rotating them in and out. And what can you benefit, how can you benefit by adding a Android wearable smartwatch to your collection? Okay, so now my watch here is not 2 years old. Now when I say that, my watch here is about a year old. I bought it on Amazon for $325. And that's what I want to talk about here. So what I want to do is, and I don't normally do this, but what I want to do here today is jump right into the pros and the cons. If you're looking for like a new unboxing experience or a new out-of-box experience, look to some of the other videos that are out there. As old as this watch is, there's at least a few dozen reviews out there already that go through the whole unboxing experience. What I want to do here is talk to you guys frankly and honestly about my 1 year owning and wearing this watch. Okay, so I'm hoping to strike up an interest with fellow watch collectors, and maybe you guys can make a decision here if you feel like you want to add a smartwatch to your collection, or particularly this watch to your collection. Maybe, maybe not. Okay, so jumping right into the cons. Now I do that because I think there are three pretty significant major cons here to consider. Okay, number one, dollar value. Okay, so I paid $325 for this. They range anywhere from like $350 and a little bit less than that, but mine here was around $325, and I really don't think that is really good feature set or dollar value here for what you're getting. Okay, so just look at it physically. What is this? Well, okay, it's a really small capacitive touchscreen. It's a 400 milliamp hour battery. It's got a really slow wearable microprocessor. It's got very limited RAM. Okay, so it's basically an enhanced notification screen from your cell phone, an extension of your cell phone, if you will. And with those features, physically, I mean, you don't get SIM card connectivity. Okay, so you can't dial and make a phone call here with a dedicated SIM card for this device. Okay, you're looking at a Bluetooth tetherable only piece of kit here, and you don't have to look beyond Motorola's own product family to see really dollar value conscious smartphones like their new Motorola G5 and the G5 Plus. I mean, those are full featured 4G LTE carrier unlocked smartphones with 3,000 milliamp hour batteries. It's about a 5.5 inch capacitive touch screen, full blown Android Nougat, and those are less than this. Okay, or maybe the most expensive one is about the same price, $300, $325. And if you look at it that way, there's really no way to justify $350, $325 for a watch like this. Okay, secondly, the second con I think has been reliability. I'm going to flat out state it right out up front. Reliability, not the greatest thing if you're used to traditional horology types of watches. So now I said my watch here is 12 months old. So in the first maybe 11 months of owning this watch, I had to do 2 factory resets. Okay, so I can't really blame the watch for that. I downloaded some buggy weather forecasting apps that I tried to load onto my watch, and they basically locked up my watch. Gave me like a gray screen of death or whatever, black screen or whatever color it was. And the only way around that was to do a factory reset of my watch. Now, any of us, those of you who have Android cell phones or who've lived with an Android cellular device, you kind of are familiar with factory resets. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, those of you in the Apple ecosystem, okay, factory resets are probably a little more dramatic and probably, I'm going to guess, probably perhaps less frequent as well. But I had to do two factory resets in those first 11 months. And while I wasn't exactly happy about doing it, okay, not that big of a deal. And you go with it. Okay, I kind of blame those faulty weather forecasting apps kind of for that. So not really anything on the watch or the watch's fault. So that being said, you know, you're logging into and you're adopting Google Android or Android Wear. And it's an open sourced, okay, app developer ecosystem. Okay, and along with open sourced apps comes some bugs here and there. Okay, less control from the mothership, Google. Okay, so you kind of learn to live with that. But it is worth noting. Okay, so that's the first 11 months of owning it. Okay, now everything went down the toilet the past month. Okay, so on March 20th, I downloaded the latest version of Android Wear on my phone, on my smartphone, an LG V10, by the way. And I went ahead and downloaded it, installed it onto my phone, A-OK, no big deal. And I thought I was fine. Well, I woke up the next day and I was no longer receiving Bluetooth notifications pushed out to my watch. And when I say notifications, I'm talking about Android Messenger, their OEM messaging device app, which I use on my phone all the time, and Google Mail. And so those two things for me are the primary reason why I have a smartwatch, why I invested $325 into a smartwatch, so that I could get wrist notifications with my phone carefully tucked away in my pocket or set aside someplace on my desk or what have you. And for some crazy reason, they just stopped coming. Now, it's worth noting that Bluetooth connectivity was completely intact. I could log in and check updates on my watch. I could swipe my screen, log in, and do everything I normally do on my watch, no problem. But for some crazy reason, they stopped sending me notifications. Okay, so I could log in and check on all my emails. I'm offline right now, but check on all my emails and everything and scroll through email discussions with my various senders and my recipients and things of that sort. No problem. But for some reason, I was no longer receiving Bluetooth notifications pushed from my phone to the watch. And I tried rebooting, I tried wiping clean, reinstalling multiple times, and I think I factory reset my watch a total of 7 or 8 times since then, and I still can't link up Bluetooth push notifications from my phone to my watch. And fast forward to today, that still kind of remains. It's now April 17th, so it's been almost a month now of me trying various things, logging into the forums, the support forums, the support communities at Google, and I just can't seem to find a solution. And so that kind of leaves me where I'm where I'm at today. Okay, so I'm kind of migrating back to my more traditional horology watches in my collection, and I've just kind of sidelined the Android wearable for now. Okay, so those are the first two cons, and I think the third con is power reserve. So if you're used to traditional watches, quartz watches, Citizen Echo drives, you know, mechanical automatics, hand wound, maybe even hand wind mechanicals, you know, you're used to going, you know, a really long time between power recharges or power cycles or replacing a battery in a quartz watch. And, you know, on this device, on my Android watch, I'm getting about a day and a half to 2 days of runtime before I need to put it back in the docking station and recharge it. So that's not a major con, really. I mean, if you're used to running around with a smartphone, it's kind of the same thing. You basically take it out at the end of the day, put it on the nightstand, and recharge. And it's kind of the same thing as a cell phone. So, Okay, so that's pretty much all I can say about the cons. Those are the three biggies. The pros here, there's actually quite a few. But the biggest thing for me is, like I said earlier, just getting wrist notifications from my phone. So that means I can simply tuck the phone away in my pocket and just scroll through my screen and look through my text messages and receive text messaging on my watch. For that, I think it's marginal. Okay, so I mean, when I say that, I mean $325 to basically get wrist notifications. Is that really worth it? Worth the $325? And maybe, maybe not. Hit or miss. You know, it would be an easier decision if this watch were only, you know, maybe $150 to $200. But at the $325 mark, I mean, you're talking about a pretty good chunk of change. Okay, so that's pretty much been it for me, and I like it really. I like the fact that I can kind of switch dials and switch watch faces whenever I want to. That's actually a really nice thing about it, but it doesn't really offset the cons enough. Now you're seeing here with a really nice Seiko field watch and a leather Zulu type of watch strap here. And I'm still kind of on the sideline with this too, by the way. I'm not totally writing it off just yet. I'm just going to kind of lurk the forums and lurk the Google support site, and hopefully somebody will try and release a solution to the problem that I'm having. So at any rate, yeah, that's pretty much been it here. I can't really say too much more about this. And you know, hey, if you guys have a Moto 360 or similar Android Wear watch, hey, you know, post down below some comments and things of that sort, some questions. Obviously, definitely post me any questions you guys might have, or if you guys have a solution to kind of the problem that I'm seeing here on my watch, definitely thumbs up for that. Any sort of discussion that you want to have on that front as well. So anyways, thanks guys, and I'm going to be uploading some more video content, some more watch reviews here very shortly. I've just got an Aragon gauge, the big one, the big 55mm gauge, and I'll be posting up a review for that very shortly, so stay tuned for that. So anyhow, thanks a lot guys, appreciate it, and take care.